What's really good, everybody? It's your boy K here, and welcome back to the Hotbox Report. We're hitting all this box office news, results, predictions, and pretty much everything else in between. This weekend wasn't the biggest weekend in terms of huge blockbuster releases for the summer. I mean, yeah, this summer altogether has been like a pretty disappointing year. But I mean, still, we've been getting big blockbuster, big name properties coming out and stuff. But this weekend, not so much. We had Stuber coming out, which is like the Dave Bautista, Camille Nanjiani movie, comedy, cop duet thing, whatever, which is, it was alright. But then we also had Crawl, the Paramount disaster / horror movie that came out too, which is, I thought Paramount was kind of burying it because there was no early screenings for it or nothing like that. And there was not really much marketing going on for it. So those two movies wasn't going to draw a huge crowd at the box office. And it's also probably a slow weekend too because theaters knew that people weren't going to try to go out this weekend and go see a lot of movies. I mean, next weekend we have Lion King coming out. I'm pretty sure a lot of people are saving their coin to go take a hit of that big bad joint. I mean, we saw it and critics saw it and people are disappointed about that, but nobody gonna give a fuck about that shit because people are still gonna go see the Lion King. It's not a bad movie or nothing like that, but yeah, people are gonna go see that next week. So everybody knew this weekend, nobody was really trying to spend that coin, which left the door wide open pretty much for Spider-Man Far From Home to repeat as the #1 movie yet again. I mean, because there's no chance in hell Stuber or Crawl was going to make the amount of money needed to beat Spider-Man. But the biggest thing that everybody was looking out for from this past weekend box office was Avengers Endgame, which was ever so close to breaking the Avatar record. I mean, the last time I checked, it was like 16 million away from breaking the Avatar record. Now this weekend is past. Is Avengers Endgame finally going to be recognized as the #1 movie of all time? Is Spider-Man Far From Home the #1 movie from this past weekend? Or did Stuber, Crawl, or some other movies to pull a major upset? Doubt it, but hey, anything could happen. Well, let's get right into the hot box and get all the highs, downers, and pretty much all the big surprises from this past weekend. So, as always, we're going to start off with the U.S. domestic totals top 5 from this past weekend. Thanks to you by Box Office Mojo. And this past weekend, we had the #5 joint being Yesterday, staying in the top 5, not a huge drop again, bringing in $6.7 million at the domestic box office, which is pretty good for a movie that's this small, I believe. Like, coming out, I didn't think this movie was gonna do well at the box office at all, because, I mean, I know people like the Beatles and stuff like that, but it's not a biopic, and the Beatles people weren't being portrayed. It was just somebody making the song, using their songs and stuff. But yeah, it brought a pretty big crowd the last couple of weeks. And this week it keep being consistent. Now I think the domestic total, I mean, the worldwide total is about $70 million almost, which is a lot more money than what I thought this movie was gonna make. I mean, it's not a bad movie. I saw it and I thought it was pretty enjoyable. So in the #4 joint, we got the Stuber joint coming in, making $8 million for Disney / Fox, and which is kind of a lot more money than what I thought it was gonna make. Because where I'm from, they had like a screener for this movie every 5 days. It seemed like everybody was seeing this movie for free. So I thought, God, dog, nobody's gonna be able to see this movie and pay actually. So this movie probably might bomb at the box office. And based off of this, and its budget, which I think like 16 million, it didn't bomb. I mean, it made half its budget back, so I'm surprised it did make this kind of money because the word of mouth wasn't that great for it. Critics gave it like a 47% on Rotten Tomatoes, and we saw it over here and stuff, and we thought it was pretty enjoyable. It had some funny moments to it, and the action was pretty good. But as a whole, I would say it's not a movie you need to go rush out to go see at the box office. I mean, at the movie theaters, it's one of those movies that if it was on Netflix and I just happened to click on it, I'll be like, okay, yeah, that was a nice high, because I would be stoned as fuck on the couch, but going and paying money to go see it, I couldn't do it. And I'm surprised people actually did it this week, but it's still the #4 spot, so that's kind of a disappointment. So at the #3 joint, we got Crawl, the Paramount horror disaster movie that came out. Even despite having not much marketing, still did pretty well. Made $12 million since the opening weekend on a $13 million budget, so that's more money than I thought it was gonna make too, because I mean, like, I saw it and I was like, okay, this is gonna be one of those cheap horror films that they released to make some quick buck, which it kind of was. But at the same time, it was quite enjoyable. It wasn't that bad of a horror movie, but similar to like Stuber, if you saw this joint on like Sci-Fi Channel, it would be a higher than a motherfucker kind of movie. I'd be like, God damn, Sci-Fi finally put some money into a movie for once. It's not like Sharknado in terms of the cheap, corny ass shit. It's more serious, and I thought it had some pretty good frightening moments in there. Like, compared this to Midsommar, which I saw last week, I would say this is a far better horror movie because I was actually scared in moments. Midsommar was just disturbing, I guess. So getting to the top 2 now, we have Toy Story 4 staying at the #2 spot, bringing in $20.6 million at the box office, only dropping about 39%, which is not bad for a movie in its 4th release at the box office. I mean, this movie I think sitting worldwide at about $770 million or something like that, which is still not at $1 billion, and I don't think it'll make $400 million by the end. So I think my prediction for this movie is not making $1 billion is correct. I mean, Aladdin might pull up upset and still get to the $1 billion mark. I don't know. That thing still has pretty good legs right now. But yeah, Toy Story 4 is an enjoyable movie. I liked it. I think I put it up there as my second favorite, actually. It doesn't go in top 3 for me, but yeah, it's an enjoyable movie. So repeating at the #1 spot due to the fact that not much competition came out, we had Spider-Man Far From Home, which made $45.3 million at the box office and falling about 51%, but bringing that worldwide total up to $847 million in just the second full, I guess, week out as release, which is pretty impressive. I mean, for a movie to make this much money this fast, I mean, like Aladdin is just now at 900 million. That's been out for like 7 weeks now. Then Toy Story been out a little bit longer, but this has already crossed that. And it's gonna hit the $1 billion mark. I guarantee that part. I mean, it is gonna face some competition next week because we got Lion King coming out and stuff, which is gonna be a huge box office success. But yeah, Spider-Man Far From Home, I saw it my second time this weekend, and it still lives up. Well, I saw it third time this weekend. Still lives up to the hype to me. It's still a great movie. One of my favorite movies from this year, which is a disappointing year, so it's not saying much. But yeah, one of my favorite movies from this year. If you haven't seen Spider-Man Far From Home, what are you doing? Go in phase 3 out in the right way by watching Spider-Man Far From Home. But speaking of phase 3, Avengers Endgame. Did it cross that record? I mean, it was sitting at $16 million away from the record, and unfortunately, it did not cross the record yet. Made about made $1.6 million at this box office domestically this weekend, but I think worldwide total and from the entire week, it brought in about $8 million more, and now it's just sitting $8 million away from the Avatar record. It's 2.8, I think 2.81 is what it's at right now. I need to get to 2.89 to break the record. So it's almost there. I mean, it has another week, I think, at the box office. It has another week or two at the box office. So maybe to get 4 million here and there, they could break the record. I think it will. I hope it will. I know Lion King is going to be a huge disappointment. I mean, not just a huge disappointment. It's going to be a success, but at the same time, it's going to be some disappointment for Disney because that's going to take away a lot of money from Avengers Endgame and crossing that record. So it's going to come down to the wire. It's going to come down the wire, but I think Kevin Feige, Avengers, Iron Man, all them bad boys, they clutcher than Michael Jordan right now, and they're going to pull it off in the long run. As far as like downers go, this movie weekend wasn't really big downer heavy, I believe. Nothing really stood out in terms of like, oh my God, that movie sucked ass or it took a huge drop. I mean, what was it? Child's Play, I think, dropped pretty significantly because it left out of so many theaters. I think right now it's only in like 6-something theaters right now. Pretty disappointing. And Dark Phoenix will be out of theaters by next week. And that's terrible for a superhero movie to be out of the theaters this fast. I mean, it's only in 200 theaters right now. It's not gonna be Hellboy bad, but it's pretty bad. Well, in terms of bombing, it is Hellboy bad. But I mean, yeah, that's all the highs and downers that I saw from this past weekend. But maybe I missed something. Maybe you saw something different at the box office, or maybe my dumbass eyes missed some results. Let me know. I spark it up in the comment section below. And hey, if there was a favor, hit that like button, share the video on MySpace, Twitter, Tumblr, Urban Chat, any of those social media websites that everybody's still using. And also, new to the channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button and be a part of the Blaze crew where we stay getting super high off of everything movie related. I'm Kay, and hey, always remember, before you go to that movie theater, hotbox it and blaze it.